up, guys, and welcome back to Project Z Garage. Today we're going to undertake a major service that we need to do to the F-150. We've been putting it off for a long time, but it's time to get it done before it gets any colder. Al right now is working on taking the intake off and the air box off, and we are going to start the long process of trying to do a timing job on this, plus some upgrades to stop this 5.4 liter 3-valve from eating itself from oil starvation. If you guys are familiar with these motors, everyone hates them for the fact that the way that this oils the motor, it comes from one side, it works its way up one side and goes to the other side, and once it gets warm, it seems like the oil pressure on one side doesn't do quite as well of a job lubricating the system on the passenger side, if I'm correct. So what we're gonna do is, during the timing job, we're also gonna do a upgraded oil pump, and we're gonna put the revised roller rockers. We bought all brand new stuff from Ford that fixes the issue with a different size hole passage for the lubing of the valves on the well, throughout the whole motor, but especially for the passenger side of it. So anything you want to add?
No, we just got to get to work.
Yeah. If you guys are familiar with Ford Tech Make You Loco, he's kind of mastered all this stuff. He's done this a million times, and we're kind of following his procedure on doing this. This car, I think he did it on a Ford Expedition.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a 2010 F-150 Fx4 with the 5.4 liter. So I mean, the intake's pretty easy to come off. Most of it's just pull off. The
clamps.
part, yeah, clamps. What size was the part that you took off the top?
A 10 millimeter.
10 millimeter. Okay.
That was the one that was in here, is a 10 millimeter. The rest of them just hose clamps.
Or just hose clamps. All right, great. And we're taking off this hose on the right side. I think we're going to attack the valve covers first. Get the valve covers off or loose, and then we are going to work on kind of disassembling the front of the motor so we can get the front cover off and go from there. So let me set you guys up and we're going to get to work. All right, guys, so from the time lapse, you can see that we've done a lot. We took the battery out, which has the battery tray has the windshield wiper fluid attached to it, so you got to be careful with that when you're taking it out. And to get it out on the 2010 F-150s, you also have to remove the upper radiator hose to get it out. There was no other way. I tried every direction I could, it wouldn't come out. And truthfully, that's just to give you a little more room to work on the valve covers. I mean, I think you could get to the valve covers. We've done it before without removing the battery, but from the directions we saw, it said to remove it, so we did, and that worked out. The valve covers are a 8 millimeter on these nuts here. The 2010 5.4 liter has 8 bolts on each side. I think the older ones have like some crazy number, like 13 or 14 bolts or something like that. So we have those all loose. Al removed all the bolts on the front cover, and now we had a hell of a time removing the crank pulley because it didn't have the screws in it that we thought it was supposed to have to put the puller on it. We actually had to get there's a special tool, but we were able to use a 3-arm puller to get in behind it and pull on it. I'll show you here. So if you can't get the real tool that's meant for it, we were able to use this on the smaller arms side and put it in the middle and grab onto the three ears on the pulley, and that was able to get it out. There's a special tool that comes in the front that has little arms on it, and you turn it and you catch on these pieces here. I found out AutoZone has it, but they don't carry it in stock. You have to order it, and it takes a couple days, and especially if you're trying to do this over a weekend, you got to make sure you got that tool. But this actually worked for us, so I'm happy about that. What else we did? Well, Al right now is working on removing the valve covers so that we can get the front cover off. He removed was it 3 screws at the bottom from the oil pan to the front cover?
4.
There's 4 screws.
4 bolts.
4 bolts that are what were they?
13 millimeter.
So 4 13 millimeter bolts that screw in from the oil pan into the bottom of the front cover. You got to make sure you get those off.
9 bolts in this.
9?
9.
Oh, not bad. So there's 9.
Yeah. 5 at the bottom, 4 at the top.
Ooh, I gotta check my side and see if I got all of mine off. But so far we're moving along. Once we get the passenger side valve cover off, we can start working on getting the front cover off and seeing what the timing set looks like, if there's any damage. I mean, we know for a fact that well, I don't know if it's a fact, but definitely the cam phasers, something's wrong with them, because the car, after it warms up, will either go full advance or full retard, and it stays there and causes the motor to shake horribly. We did try one solution, which is replacing the cam phaser solenoids up here on each side. So those are new, and that didn't solve the problem. So more than likely it is the cam phasers themselves that are bad. We've gotten
pretty damn good stuff here.
Hey, I told you, got black silicone.
Hey, you know what? We've got to drop some rags in there right now.
Yeah, we don't want anything to fall in there, so we're going to cover those up. Doesn't look too bad. I mean, we got a little bit of burnt on oil from the previous owner. Normally that happens from, you know, cheaper oils and long intervals before you change it. I mean, me personally, we like to change our oils earlier than later, every 3,500 miles or half the time, whatever is recommended. I usually cut that in half, and that's what we would do it at. There's a lot of little things that we're gonna have to do to this truck to get it up to where we need it to be, but little by little we'll get to it. So let's get back to it. We're gonna work on getting this front cover off. Let me see if I don't know, did I get all the nuts off this side? Let's see, it's 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So unless there's one on the very back there, I think it's off.
Probably hooked in still.
Maybe. All right, let me try to get it off here. Let me set you guys up and let's see if I can get this valve cover off, or if there's one screw still stuck on there. It feels like it's off.
You want to hold things out the way?
I'm trying to think what else maybe.
Because I know we got it out last time.
Yeah, we did. I mean, it feels like everything's off. I mean, we gotta be careful with this solenoid here.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Bring it to me. Push this out your way.
Yeah, that's not. Oh, maybe we have to go back first and then forward.
What do you think I'm hooking on?
Oh, hooking on something over there. Maybe if we.
You're jamming on a rocker or something.
All right. So you know what? Let's reposition. Let's see what's going on here.
You barely caught on it. If you would have went it back up the other way. Bring the back up. Bring it a little lower. Hold on. Hold on.
I'm holding.
Go ahead, bring it lower.
Oh, hold on.
Can you lift it straight up?
Hold on. It's getting caught on stuff.
Okay.
Look at that side. Hey.
It's almost.
Yeah. Look how clean. That side actually, from the last cleanup, stayed pretty clean. What do you think, Al?
Yeah.
It's actually still
wow,
pretty
that
clean.
looks way better than it was before.
Yeah, from when we cleaned. So the oil changes we've been doing actually have been paying off. Let's put that down for a second. Let's take a look at what we got in here.
Damn, this is so cool.
Yeah,
No joke.
yeah, you got to put that silicone on that part that it
Where it
meets
meet-
up with the front cover. Well, everything looks pretty good. I'm gonna throw some rags in there, stop any dust and debris from falling in there. Well, it's a good thing I bought a new valve cover seal. I mean, looks not too bad. Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to clean them up again anyway.
Maybe you want to shove this in there? Just on the top side of it. Reach all the way in the back first. Try and get all the way to the back first. Because, I mean, we're coming at it right now. It's not like we're going to be sitting there for...
You never know.
You don't know you're supposed to be shoving it in between,
Okay,
right?
I got nothing to stand on here. It's not like I can reach all the way back. Okay. That's good. You have another one we can use? Well, I don't want it going in. at
They
all.
want it inside.
Oh, they want it inside?
They want it inside. You know...
Listen, I don't pay attention to this stuff.
I mean, we're coming at it right now, but that's how they want it. You see this side? This is how they want it. I mean, gotta clean that surface clean. But now we can start prying on here. There's supposedly an ear right here to grip on this. There's an ear right here. Ear here and there. One here, one there. We gotta slowly start prying on this to get it out now.
Okay. Well,
All right, go ahead, get your pry bar. Here.
so try to get the ear there.
All right, hold on. I see a bolt that I missed.
Yes, I see a bolt that you missed
Here,
too.
hold this. What is there? I think they're 13s?
Yeah, probably a 13 or a 15. Yeah, that one right there. Okay. No problem.
I see a bolt that I missed.
I think I see two bolts that you missed.
Okay. You will have to show me.
They're the opposite of the other side. So I see one here, and I see one
Yeah,
on the other side.
There's another one I missed.
Alright guys, and another thing I just noticed, it looks like both of these cam phasers failed. Like that's the spring inside, and it's now outside. I don't know if this is a OEM phaser, or if they tried replacing this once with an aftermarket one, but they definitely are both, looks like they failed. That's not the way they're supposed to look. It looks like it lost whatever it is, because I don't think that's supposed to be out like that. So let's take a look at a new cam phaser. So let's take a look at our new cam phaser. Oh, actually, no, it is the same. So I'm wrong. So I thought that looked kind of weird, having that piece of metal wrapped around there. I thought they both failed, but as you can see from Ford, it comes with new bolts for it, and that's the new part, right and left. Okay, so I'm wrong. I thought it actually failed and like the spring came out from inside, but it did not. So let's get back to work. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna try to get these chains off. We're gonna get the guides off, the tensioners on both sides, we want to get those off too. Here and here, I think these are a 10. And then we'll work on getting the chain off. Once the chain's off, we'll work on the valves and getting the cams off, because we're gonna need that completely loose so that we can time it properly later. Guys, so the next thing we're gonna do, or what we're doing now before we take everything apart, is that we need to relieve the pressure on the cam before we remove it. So if you see the little dowel pin right there on the crank, that has to point to 12, and the lobes on the passenger side here have to point to 11 o'clock. And then once these are at 11 o'clock, you're going to put your tool and remove the roller rockers, the rockers on the first, I'm sorry, in the middle of the first cylinder here, and then the very back lobe and the one closest to the cap here is the other one you have to remove. So it's 3 on each side, and the driver's side is the reverse of this side. So instead of 1 on the front, you're taking the 2 front and back, and then on the back it's the middle one of the last cylinder. And once we do that, we can turn it to the 6 o'clock, the crank to the 6 o'clock position, which will take pressure off of the cams, and then we can remove the caps on the cams and remove the cams. But before we do that, we'll take the belts, the chains off, and start getting the guides and everything off the front. Al's working on the driver's side now, removing the rockers. As you can see there, we're keeping track of them. Although we're going to be changing them to the new ones, we still want to keep track of them just to make sure where we got them from. Worst case, something doesn't fit properly and we have to go back to them. But slowly but surely, we hit a couple hiccups with the crank not having the drill holes to remove it on the pulley, and the other issue was that there's a plastic that covers the electrical and part of the crank sensor, crank positioning sensor, which has to be removed for you to get the retainer, that the piece that holds the, I guess, the oil lines or transmission lines onto the front cover before that can be removed, so that we can get the front cover off. That's a couple of issues we ran on the 2010 F-150 with the 5.4 liter. All right, guys, let's keep rolling and try to get these rockers out so that we can start working on disassembling the front. You know, by today we want to try to get everything fully disassembled and start working on cleaning stuff up. All right, guys, let's show you the tool that we're using to get the valves, the roller followers off, or I call them roller rockers. It's this tool here. You can get them from Amazon. That's where we got this from. This slides on, presses on the head, while this screws down and pushes on the valve spring to take tension off of the roller rocker, and that's so you can remove it. You have to press down with your finger on the end of the roller rocker so that the valve goes down, so that the keepers stay on the valve. If those fall into the motor, that's the end of it. Also, Al is taking a measurement of how far the what are these things called again?
Cam phasers.
The cam phasers are
Cap.
on the from the cap. This way, when we put the new ones on, we can make sure they're in the same position. When we're done, and it makes life a little easier and takes the guesswork out. So if you have a set of calipers or a measuring tape or something, we're measuring from the front cap here, the first cap, the cap for the cam, to the back of the
Cam
phaser, and then we're just going to save that measurement, and when we put the new ones on, we can make sure it's the same distance away when we're done. So we now have all the roller rockers off.
No, we only got some roller rockers.
Well, I'm saying the ones that we need to make sure that when we turn it to the 6 o'clock position, it will take the pressure off of the cam so that we can remove the rest of the front of the motor. We're using a 32 millimeter to turn the crank, so that hooks onto the keyway and allows us to rotate the crank and get it into the 6 o'clock position, which we're going to do now. Once we get that in the 6 o'clock position, we're just going to take a look over everything, make sure that everything is in the neutral position for the cam, and then we can start working on removing all of the chains, guides, and are we going to take the phasers off now, or do we wait till they're complete?
We're going to use the gun on it.
Okay. So once we remove all the chains and everything off.
Yeah, well, the way he did it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he did it after the chains were off.
All right, guys. So we're gonna get back to work, and I'll touch base again once we get this all taken apart. Alright guys, it's dark. I don't know how much you're going to be able to see here, but we got the chains off, the guides off. We installed the upgraded oil pump, which was a huge pain in the butt because it did not want to sit properly. You had to get it exactly perfectly right for it to get on. And boy, at one point I thought we had the wrong part because it was giving us such a hard time to go on, but we got it on. We torqued it down, and I think we're gonna call it a night. We're gonna stop here and start again in the morning and try to bang this out tomorrow, or try to get at least 99% the way done. So guys, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll catch you in the next video.